Some people can accomplish something they've worked on for months, feel genuinely proud of it, and still never post it anywhere. No photo, no announcement, no finally did it. They might even see their friends sharing their achievements online and think, good for them. But when it's their turn, they quietly put the phone down. And what's interesting is that this behavior can reveal something much deeper than simply being private. Imagine you've just achieved something you've wanted for a long time. Maybe you got promoted, finished something difficult, bought something you've been saving for, passed an exam, or finally reached a goal nobody else even knew you were working toward. You open your phone. You could post it, but then you think, why? And somehow, that question is enough to close the app. For some people, achievement doesn't automatically create a desire to be seen. They experience the reward internally. The satisfaction comes from knowing, I actually did this, not from knowing that 50 people saw it. This can happen when someone has learned to separate their sense of accomplishment from other people's reactions. Their brain doesn't necessarily need an audience to make the achievement feel real. But there's another reason. Sometimes staying quiet is about avoiding comparison. The moment you post an achievement, you don't completely control what happens next. Someone might congratulate you. Someone else might ignore it. Another person might post something even bigger tomorrow. And suddenly, something that originally felt like a personal victory becomes part of a social scoreboard. That's where the meaning can change. And your brain is very sensitive to social comparison. You don't have to consciously think, I'm competing with this person. Sometimes simply seeing what other people are doing is enough to make you evaluate yourself. So some people instinctively avoid turning their private achievements into public comparisons, not because they're ashamed of succeeding, but because they don't want their happiness measured against someone else's life. But here's where it gets more interesting. For some people, not posting isn't confidence. It's protection. Maybe they grew up feeling that whenever they shared something they were proud of, someone criticized it, minimized it, or made them feel like they were showing off. Over time, the brain can learn a simple association. Being noticed creates problems. So keeping achievements private becomes a way of controlling attention. And this is an important distinction. Two people can behave exactly the same way while having completely different reasons. One person doesn't post because they genuinely don't need external validation. Another doesn't post because they're afraid of being judged. From the outside, they look identical. But internally, one is choosing privacy. The other may be protecting themselves. There's also something surprisingly powerful about keeping certain achievements to yourself. When nobody knows what you're working toward, you don't have to constantly explain your progress. You don't have to prove that you're still succeeding. You don't have to maintain an image. You can simply do the thing. And sometimes that freedom is more satisfying than applause. But there's a small trap here. Privacy and avoidance can look almost identical. So instead of asking, should I post my achievements? A better question might be, why do I want to hide this? If the answer is, because this feels personal, and I don't need everyone to know, that's one thing. But if the answer is, because I'm scared people will judge me, envy me, criticize me, or think I'm not good enough, that's something worth noticing. Maybe that's why some of the quietest people aren't necessarily the least proud. They may simply have stopped believing that every meaningful moment needs an audience. They know what they accomplished. They felt what it took to get there. And sometimes, that's enough. Because not everything valuable needs to be displayed to become real.